So the 6th of November 2023, that was the first time I passed my funded challenge with Funded Next, and this was a moment to remember because it made me realize that this is actually possible. And shortly after, I then actually received my payout as well. So that day was definitely a good day. Now today I'm going to be talking to you about Funded Next, but first a disclaimer. I want you guys to know that every single prop firm, every broker, whatever it might be that I review on this channel, I will make sure I use them first. Just like Funded Next, I've actually used it, I've passed with them, I've used them long enough to have an experience with them before I actually bring them out and give you my opinions. So this is to be clear and also understand that I'm not being paid to say anything that I do not want to say. I have the freedom to say whatever I want so you guys can know the exact truth, and you guys can know exactly what prop firm that you want to use, because you know how prop firms are these days. We want to make sure that we actually secure payouts from them and we're gonna get paid. We don't want to work for free, right? That's kind of the aim. Okay, so let's go through the basic stuff. So Funded Next pretty much offers 4 different packages. They have the Stellar, they have the Evaluation, they also have the Express, and they have Stellar Lite. This is the new one, pretty much is Stellar, but this is just a light version. Now I'm not going to go through every single detail. You will find that on their website. I'll leave a link in the description below. But the main 2 that you want to focus on, or let me even say the 1, to be honest, it's just the Stellar. This is kind of the traditional, this is the standard 2-phase. That's the one I always recommend, by the way, the 2-phase. Why? Simply because when you do pass, you want to make sure that you give yourself that breathing room to have losing days. If you go with anything that's kind of quick, if you pass quickly, you will fail quickly as well. You don't want to get funded and now you're stuck with 3% drawdown or something, and then you have a bad day and then you fail the account and you don't even get a payout. So you want to give yourself that breather of that 10% drawdown, so you want to make sure you go for the Stellar account. So that's the one I'll be talking about today in terms of everything that I mentioned throughout this video. So like I said, they do have the traditional stuff. So they have the 8% phase 1, 5% phase 2, which is good. This means that it gives you the best chance to actually pass, which is why I probably passed with them in the first place. Usually there's still some prop firms that do 10%, but 8% is always good. That's kind of the traditional, that's the standard now, right? Everyone should pretty much have that. So that's good. That's something people can't complain about. But there is one thing I really like about them right off the bat, and this is balance-based drawdown. They have this, you should know, I preach about this most of the time. You want to make sure whatever prop firm you're with, they definitely do have balance-based drawdown. This means that if you have a 100k account, for example, and you're currently on 98k left, that is going to be 98k. It's set. There's no debate, there's no hidden anything. It is set and steady, and you know that you have 8% left to basically lose in that case before you blow the account. Every other type of drawdowns, just forget it. It's just, yeah, you don't need a headache. So balance-based drawdown, they do have it. It makes your life so much simpler. So that's good. It's very, very good that they have. If they didn't, trust me, I wouldn't be with them, because I really dislike any other thing that isn't balance-based drawdown. So that's the general stuff out of the way. Now let's talk payouts. I have actually secured a payout as well from Funded Next. And how was the process? It was smooth, to be honest. I mean, there will always be people saying you don't get payouts from certain prop firm. Every prop firm goes through that. But in my case though, that's all I can speak on. My case was very, very smooth. You can get paid through crypto in several other ways. These days, crypto is what I prefer to use. But then when I got my first payout with Funded Next, I didn't actually use crypto. But it was still a very smooth process. They send that into your account and it was steady. They actually have different, not different payouts, but different ways you will get paid, especially on your first ever time of passing. But I'll get into that shortly. But that's one thing that's really good. You can get paid a lot from just passing once. But now let's talk cost. First of all, the price of the challenges itself. Their price are pretty much straightforward and it matches up with the rest of the prop firms in the space. So it's not too crazy, it's not the cheapest, it's also not the most expensive. It just falls in the middle with the rest of them. So cost is a general thing. They do offer discounts and stuff across the board. I guess technically that makes it cheaper than some that don't really offer discounts. But overall, cost is fine. I don't have an issue with it. But in the same space of cost, we also have something like commissions that kind of adds to cost, in my opinion, as well. So every time you trade, you do have to worry about commissions. How is the commissions? In my opinion, commissions is pretty good. If you actually kind of compare this to the other prop firms in the industry, their commissions is around $3 per lot. So that's actually pretty low. There are some that will offer no commissions, but what I found is with no commissions, spreads sometimes is crazy. Like there's always a price, you know what I mean? So if you're having no commissions at all, the spreads will be kind of wild, because that is how they will still kind of make money somehow. So in this case, because they do have, you know, low commission costs, should I say, so everything is pretty good. And that gets us onto the idea of spreads as well. Spreads is also pretty good. Back then, it was definitely a lot more annoying, I would say. Back then, this was back in 2023, but now we're in 2024. My experience with them now, it is actually a lot better now. And this might be the fact that they also have their own broker. If you've been on channel long enough, you know I speak about prop firms that have their own broker. Most of them, from my experience, I've found that they usually all have very good spreads. pretty much always very good spreads because I guess they get to control things how they want to. But also note that the fact that they get to control things how they want, some people do say, you know, they can manipulate certain stuff and yada yada, but overall I've not experienced this at all personally. Literally throughout since I've been using FundedNext, I haven't had any issues in terms of anything that shouldn't have happened that is a bit sus. So for me, in my case, it's fine. I also believe that the fact that prop firms now are really, like, the bad ones are getting booted, so I think every prop firm is really being serious now. They're not trying to play too many games, so overall most of them are now intact. Like, the ones that are going to survive are going to survive. The ones that are still being a bit silly, they're going to get packed up. So you'll see how FundedNext kind of does everything. They're very transparent to make sure that you know everything how it is, very clear, so there's no way that they want to get into trouble, which is good. You know, we kind of like the transparency. You know how prop firms have been literally over the past like 2 years. So in this sense, I would say FundedNext is actually very good. I have no problems at all. So support. Now support is one thing I highly like. This is gonna give them an additional point if it's good. I mean, I know it's good because I've tried it already, but support was very good. So what actually happened to me was when I initially got funded by them, I had an issue with my certificate. It didn't unlock, it didn't say I've passed and stuff like that. For some reason, I had no idea. So I reached out. The whole process, 10 to 20 minutes ish, pretty smooth. They just needed to tweak some stuff. The next day the certificate was ready and sorted and all done. So yeah, overall that process was smooth. I had no issues with support. I usually don't have to contact support, but if I do need to, it's a smooth process. So I would say their support is pretty good. And if we do look online as well, most people generally do not have too many issues with their support. So it's not just my opinion, this is kind of like a general thing. Most people say their support is pretty decent. You know, you get what you expect basically. And now I believe they have kind of automated responses in terms of the basic stuff. So if you want to know just easy, simple things, that gets answered like this. So that's very good now. So now only if you really need more help with extra stuff, then you have someone actually speak to you live, and that's also a quick process. So now just some few other things to note that I think is extra stuff to do with FundedNext. Number one, like I mentioned earlier, transparency. When I saw this, I like this very much because I've actually not seen any other prop firms do this. The fact that they tell you the percentage of people that fail just before you purchase one, again, just shows the transparency. They're letting you know ahead of time. They're really not trying to get in trouble, which is good, right? We want that because that helps us to kind of trust them a bit more. They tell you that, okay, cool, this is the percentage of people that fail phase one, this is the percentage of people that fail phase two, so you know that you're probably going to fail as well, but go ahead and try it anyway. I think that's good, right? That's one thing that's very good. Secondly, if there's something negative for me to say, it would be the fact that it's a weird one. They offered this 15% profit from phase 1 and 2, which is, honestly, it is amazing. Like, again, they do things that not many do. That is very good. But I remember when I passed and got a payout, I didn't get this. For some reason, I remember the process was just, it's like I didn't qualify for it. I'm not sure why, because this was back in 2023. I wasn't sure why that happened then, but it was, yeah, I just didn't get it. I mean, I didn't mind though, because I was still getting paid regardless, and I still got paid my refunds and everything. So everything was good. It was good pay, but I just didn't get that specific payment to do with the 15% from phase 1, phase 2 combined. I don't know, but doing my research now, I can see that many people are now getting this. So I guess now it's fine. Now there's no issue. Maybe they fix some of the rules to do with that. So now it seems like it's good. And this gets me onto the point where I was talking about passing that first challenge with them is very good, because not only do you get your payout, you also get something known as a refund fee. I'll leave a link below. You can actually use mine. You get 120% refund back. So what this means is the amount that the challenge cost, you get extra 20% on top of that as well, which is a lot of money. Like, that's good money just by passing. So you get your refund fee as well. You also get your payout as well. On top of it, you also get this 15% from phase 1 and phase 2. So that's when you're actually trying to pass, you get that on top of it as well. So that's multiple, just multiple. Do you get what I mean? So if you think about this in like 100k account, that's a lot of money that you're gonna get from just passing that first ever time. So my advice is, when you do actually pass, just try to secure some kind of payout. Honestly, anything, any payout. Make sure you get all this refunds and all the payments, and then you can continue trading normally. So overall, what can I say about FundedNext? I would rate them quite highly. I think in terms of the niche and in terms of the trading space, they are one of the top dogs. They've also been here long enough, which is a bonus point, right? You kind of have to give props for that. They have been doing this since the days of the OGs, right? They've seen prop firms go, they've seen new prop firms come in, and they are still surviving. So you do have to give props for that as well. I do like prop firms that have been there long enough, so that way you feel more like you can trust them in a way, right? They've passed the test of time, which is a key thing for any prop firm for sure. So overall, I would rate FundedNext highly. I'm going to continue using them for sure. So that That way, if there's anything I need to update you guys on, anything that changes, then I will do so. But for me, I will continue using them as well. It's always good to diversify. So Funder Next does get the green for me. So hopefully you did find some value in this video. I'll leave a link below if you do want to try out Funder Next. Be sure to use that 120% refund. Trust me, it's very, very sweet. Now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.